More fallout from the fire caused by electric vehicle batteries that destroyed a Banks County recycling facility last year.
SK Battery, which is an EV battery plant in Commerce, settled out of court with that burned up business. The fire likely caused by lithium-ion batteries that should not have been dumped there.
Well, the Fox 5 I-Team has reported on problems at SK Battery since its construction 5 years ago, as well as the lawsuit filed over last year's fire. I-Team reporter Johnny Edwards asked both sides why the company will pay $31 million to settle. Johnny?
Well, Russ, to hear it from the plaintiff's side, it's because the case wasn't going well for SK Battery. While the South Korean-owned company admitted no liability, the settlement had no confidentiality clause. So now the man who lost his business and his lawyers have revealed troubling things they learned during the case about fires caused by reject batteries.
They kept spraying water on it, trying to smother it out, and they could suppress it, and then it would come right back.
The inferno raged for days, and Scott Ledford lost it all. A business he spent 5 years building, MetroSite, an industrial recycling center near Commerce. Lost, he says, because another green company, the sprawling SK Battery plant just down the road, kept slipping him its excess product, mixed in with recycling. It happened, he says, about a half a dozen times before.
They acknowledged the fact that we were not licensed nor permitted to handle lithium-ion battery packs or any type of hazardous waste. Every time I'd meet with them, they'd make a bunch of promises that they had their problem fixed on their end, and I believed them.
Then Ledford says he got burned again.
Basically, a pallet full of them had been put in a dumpster illegally, shipped over here.
That fire started right here, taking 4 days and 3 million gallons of water to put out. Ledford and his attorneys say not only did SK Battery's deception cause this fire, but their deception continued during the litigation.
Found among the embers more than 600 charred batteries made by SK. Ledford filed suit a few weeks later. Last week, his attorneys revealed a settlement for $31 million in a press release that publicly accused the company of destroying evidence. The company faced similar allegations in a trade secrets case involving a rival battery maker 4 years ago.
They, being SK Battery, destroyed videos on the inside of the plant, on the outside of the plant.
Though MetroSite asked for sanctions, SK Battery pushed back, saying everything requested was provided. The judge in the case never ruled on the allegations. Other troubling things found in discovery: records of multiple internal fires at the plant. 62, according to this record filed in Jackson County State Court. A former safety manager at SK signed a sworn affidavit filed in the case, describing how fires started because the plant ramped up production to unsafe levels, creating high volumes of scrap batteries called NGs, no good, that often combusted. The affidavit saying fires were occurring inside the plant routinely, and we were storing hundreds upon hundreds of NG pallets in 4 warehouses in Jefferson. A fire occurred there.
We didn't settle with SK Battery. They paid a demand. We said, here is what you must pay to not go to trial.
SK Battery, though, does view it as a settlement. We asked company officials to speak to us on camera too, but they declined, saying through a spokesman, we settled because we thought both parties were ready to move on, calling MetroSite's statements misleading. The company says many of those 62 fires weren't fires, but only triggered smoke alarms, with none resulting in significant damage or burn injuries. Also describing stringent procedures for disposing of production material, with an extra layer of oversight added more than a year ago, and saying SK agreed to a generous settlement from MetroSite to rebuild and relaunch.
$31 million, most people would think a settlement like that makes you a rich man.
Yeah, it does look huge, and that number would, on a piece of paper, makes you smile. But when you do the rest of the math for the debt that was associated with this facility, the rebuild cost of the facility, some of the equipment that I had in here since from the time I put it in originally to now has went up 50%, and that's just sucked every bit of the money off of it to where at the end of the day, yeah, I'll about break even.
Some of the attorneys who represented Ledford are involved in a separate lawsuit over the fire, representing the Banks County government, which accuses SK Battery of illegally endangering government employees and property, including the fire station next door. SK Battery has been fined $33,000 over that fire by the Georgia Environmental Protection Division. Courtney, Russ?
Yeah, I know a lot of people who drive electric cars might be a little concerned about something like this. Do we know what kinds of cars these batteries are in, and should people be concerned?
Yes, this plant has made batteries for the Ford F-150 Lightning and the Volkswagen ID4. As far as whether to be concerned, that's really up to the individual car owner. I mean, these batteries that are allegedly catching fire are not batteries that were put in cars. They're reject batteries churned out by this plant. And also keep in mind, statistically speaking, an EV battery is less likely to catch fire than a regular car battery. So I just hear they're harder to put out. But
Gotcha. But these reject batteries, to put a fine point on it, should never have been in that recycling plant to begin with.
no, they were not permitted for hazardous waste, and they had allegedly had told the plant repeatedly, we can't take these, don't send them to us, but kept happening.
Wow. All right. Well, I know you'll follow up on this, Johnny.
We sure will.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.